in terms of the intro, I was thinking we need to do a little bit about who are we,
Yeah.
right? And then we're doing a 3 video series. And then there's something about make a movement, making of a movement, and the distinction. Is that, or is that too much right now?
As long as we get to the definition of what we mean by a movement, right? And
Which is here.
For there, okay. Because really in this first video we really need to get into what we mean by movement, and what we're talking about is a conscious movement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that,
consciously. Yeah.
And that'll come up here because this change part, we were going to do something about react response, right?
Yeah, changes constantly happen.
Yeah.
Right? Change is happening all the time, and everybody is always in a reflection of that change. The change creates certain pressures, and we can't control that change, but it's always happening, whether it's an organization, whether it's an individual, or not. And we can either react to that change, as most systems do, or because we're conscious beings, we can actually respond to that, and we can actually anticipate the change that's coming, have an intuition about what's coming, and be responsive to that. Reaction tends to be more of a, if for a human or a human system, tends to be like acting out of old patterns and belief systems, and like, boom, it's an MGO, like this is more of an explosion. Where a response is like, okay, it's being aware of what's happening. This is what's happening, or anticipates what's happening. What could I do with this? And there's a pause, and they looking at what the information and evaluation, and then moving forward with an energy that's more calculated, or maybe more wise based on experience.
So in a sense then, this change, this call to make a movement, this consciousness aspect, it would be worth us using a phrase like make a movement, making of a movement, and we'll clear it up because we'll define what a movement is, and then just weave that in, because these are important phrases for us going forward.
Yeah. So right? How would you talk about make a movement versus making of a movement?
So a person makes a move, person makes a move, person makes a move, person makes a movement. But if you bring them together, you could be making of a movement, right? Different fitness elements, making a movement in your community and how you work together.
Yeah.
Right. That's all I was thinking from that one.
Right. So there may be a bunch of people that come to our session that all have a linkage around health and healthcare, or alternative health, and they may be thinking about a movement within each of their businesses or lives, but look at the synergy and the collaboration that could happen, and that's what we're really interested in, is the making of a movement, how they can find synergies together. So not only are we able to help them evaluate and energize their specific movements, but how can they engage with each other and collaborate with each other to make everyone's piece of the pie or movement even bigger.
Yeah.
And learn from each other.
And it's sort of playing with words. You know how to play with words. It's like it's the movement of movements.
Yes, it's a movement of movements.
Right.
And you're better at words than me.
Right? So if we get that phrase out at the very beginning, then what we do is we start to talk about these ones. We get to the point where there's a power of decision that you're going to make, is that you might create, join, support, fund. I don't want to use the word attack, but sometimes a movement is to take something on.
Yeah.
What word would we use there?
To the intention, the craving, or no, you're talking more about a problem that's
refresh, reorganize. Because I don't want to get the sense that you're going to create a movement that's going to attack another movement. That's not what I'm trying to get at. But there is that sense is that sometimes there's movements out there, and fitness is one. Is like sometimes people want to challenge the food pyramid because they say it's really outdated. There was a movement that's associated with it, but you don't want to talk about being maybe challenge.
Challenge, revise, update.
Okay, those are the words I was looking for. Update.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So with the power of decision is you got those kind of words that you're playing with.
Yeah.
Right, and we get those across. That comes out because of the contribution you're going to make, which links to the 4 levels of movement that we're going to be talking about, like that individual, business, community, societal, right? Which is where we're going to sort of end that first video off.
Yeah. And I think we need to make that point on this, connect change to this idea of entropy, both individual or organizational or system. Living systems, they must move.